So a lot of times the first thing that near retirees say when they come into my door is, hey, I need an income plan. I need to know where my money is going to come from. I need to know what buckets of money I'm going to use to live on now that I'm nearing retirement. And I worked at my current company for about 10 years, and then I had another company before that, and I started a Roth IRA, and my wife has a 401k, or my husband has a 457. And it's kind of this sense of unease that they have, that they're going into a place where their guaranteed income from their employer is going to turn off, and now we have to turn on income from somewhere else. This video right here is about the most common strategy that I find people come into retirement with, and it's just really the path of least resistance strategy, which is not a bad thing, because when you work hard and you save a whole bunch of money over 10, 20, 30 years of employment, it makes sense that what you've always done will keep working into the future. Unfortunately, the math says that that can be a very, very dangerous thing for your money, for your bottom line, and for your peace of mind. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Chris Reed. I'm the owner of Capital Partners Wealth Management. And this video here is just on the one major flaw that I found in the most common income strategy that people have going into retirement. So the most common strategy people have is called the growth and withdrawal strategy. So that's where they're going to try and grow their assets up and take out withdrawals, and the amount of growth is going to offset the withdrawals so that they can spend this money that comes out, and the market is going to replenish the money in their buckets as time goes on. Now that sounds awesome, and it is a strategy, and it can work. And quite frankly, quite a few people have retired successfully and had long and happy lives using the growth and withdrawal strategy. The problem is that it relies on something called buy and hold. So buy and hold is the actual investment strategy that you use to execute that income plan. So that investment strategy looks like, well, if I buy it down here and I hold it till here, obviously I'm going to get a lot more money from the stock market than I'm going to pull out, and then we can start planning on for how we want to pass on our assets to our kids. The fatal flaw in buy and hold is that it should be called buy, hold, and pray. So if you're taking withdrawals, and let's say you retire right here, the year 2002, and let's say you have $1 million. Well, sure, as the market's going up, if you're taking out a 5% withdrawal rate and you're taking out $50,000 per year, everything's gonna be fine. Everything is going to be fine until the 2008 housing crisis hits. And then as you take these withdrawals and the stock market takes money back out of the account along with your withdrawals, all of a sudden you could find yourself with, instead of $1 million dropping to $950,000 and then being replenished up to $1,050,000 and then dropping down to $1 million and being replenished and repeating that cycle, you could find your $1 million here turning into $950,000 because of your withdrawal, turning into $850,000 because of the stock market going down, turning into $700,000 because of the stock market and a withdrawal. And you rinse, wash, and repeat that. And maybe mathematically you'll be fine, but at the end of the day, are you gonna be really confident taking that next year's withdrawal? Are you gonna be really happy planning that trip to Disneyland with your grandkids if the stock market is taking money out of your account at the same time? So this is what we call sequence of withdrawal risk. And that is the one fatal flaw in the growth and withdrawal strategy executed with a buy and hold investment plan. So this is going to be the story of Steve and Bill. Steve and Bill are two good guys. They went to work back in the 60s and 70s, and they're 10 years apart in age. Now both of them work really hard. They get to the late 90s, early 2000s, and they've accumulated that junk drawer of accounts. And over time, their account values have gone up, and they've gone down a little bit, then they've gone back up. And now, hey, we've been here 30 years, so it's always worked, so let's go ahead and keep doing it. So we're going to give each of them $500,000, and we're going to take out 6% per year. Now that's a hard number that has to come out every single year. That $30,000 has to come out to help supplement their Social Security and anything else they've got going in retirement to make sure they have the life they want. So you can see in the first year, Steve here, he takes out his $30,000, and the stock market takes out another 4%. So that's no good for Steve, but he says, you know what? As long as I hold, the market will always come back. And at the end of the first year, he has $449,000. Well, he took out 30 and the stock market took out a little bit. So he's got a little bit less than he would like, but that's okay. Now the next year in 1991, the market just starts soaring. And here we go in the dot-com bubble. So not only does he take out his 30,000 and not only does he get his 5% back from the previous year, but at the end of that year, you can see he has an extra $4,000 than he started with 2 years prior. So Steve's feeling pretty good. So now we repeat that process over and over and over with his withdrawal coming out, but the stock market giving us these big killer returns, and somehow Steve takes out $300,000 worth of withdrawals, and at the end of that time period, in the year 2000, Steve has $1.2 million. That is an excellent growth and withdrawal strategy. Unfortunately, very rarely does the stock market go up for 10 years in a row, and even when it does, we end up like old Bill over here, because in the market, especially recently with big ups and big downs, I don't know if gravity applies to the stock market, but it seems to be applying a lot lately. So Bill, 10 years younger than his brother, retires in the year 2000. And poor Bill goes in the year 2000, takes his $30,000 withdrawal, takes his $30,000 withdrawal, and the stock market takes out an extra 6%. So that's no fun. But you know what? Between $449,000 and $440,000, Bill's gonna survive. That's only $9,000 less than his brother had at the end of his first year. But now in a bad stock market, Bill, who has to take out this $30,000 to keep going to see his grandkids, to keep taking his wife on vacations, to keep doing those things that he worked so hard for, he has a stock market working against him. So you can see Bill, who's only retired 3 years, now has about half the money he planned on living on for the rest of his life. So if Bill retired at 65, he's now 68, looking at an account value of $292,000. There's no way he's gonna feel real happy about taking that next $30,000 withdrawal. Well, if gravity applies on the way down, you can look here and the stock market gives back a whole 25% to Bill at the end of that 4th year. Unfortunately, that's 25% compounded on a much lower number, so now he's only back up to $329,000. Now, once again, Bill has to keep taking out those withdrawals, and at the end of 10 years, poor Bill, who's also taken out $300,000, now only has $150,000 of retirement assets left. What I've discovered in 10 years of doing this, it's a lack of confidence and the peace of mind that really gets sacrificed when we just buy, hold, and pray, and we tell ourselves that the market's gonna come back if we don't really know that it's gonna come back. And that's why I always abide by a philosophy of invest so you don't have to be right. Use investments that change that dynamic and give you the confidence and peace of mind to know that everything's gonna be okay when you wake up in the morning. So if you want an idea of what some of those passive income investments are, go ahead and take a look around the channel. There's a video on here somewhere, you might find it helpful. And if you found something helpful on this channel, make sure and leave a comment or ask a question. We'll try and get back to it when we can. Thank you.